Alright, hello once again, Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming. In the last video, we began our conversion of our BMI or Body Mass Index JavaScript program into its TypeScript equivalent. We didn't get real far because we wrote a big comment at the top explaining what we were going to do, explaining what constants we were going to use, etc. And then we set up those constants. Alright, 7 constants and then our 4 accumulators. So let's continue on from there. The next thing we're going to put in here is we're going to put in a helper function. All right. And basically, for lack of better words, TypeScript will expect an HTML element of subtype T. It will throw a descriptive error at runtime if the element cannot be found. This will eliminate the repetitive null checks throughout the rest of the code. All right. Function get element T extends HTML element ID string, and it'll return a T. Oops, let's get that back up there. There we go. Not actually going to be very big. The element, and that's going to be equal to document.get element by ID, the ID, and it'll be either T, we saw above, or null. If not the element, throw new error, element with ID not found in the DOM. Should be sufficient. All right, so if you throw an error, we're going to be out of there. Otherwise, we'll return the element. That's the whole thing. All right. The next one will be the BMI calculation. Again, using the following formula. We had it up here. So this function will calculate the BMI using the following formula. Okay. And we're going to have a height. Let's be really descriptive. Height in inches, and that'll be a number. And we'll have weight in pounds, and that'll be a number. And it's going to return a string. All right, so this will return exactly what we've shown up above, and that is weight in pounds divided by height in inches times height in inches, and that whole thing times 703, and we'll put a .2 fixed on it, so we'll return it with 2 decimal places. That's it. All right. Next, we want to. So next, this function will calculate the BMI status using the BMI in conjunction with the BMI status constants shown above. All right, so function calculate BMI status, and that will need the BMI as a number, and again it will return a string. Now notice we're getting an error right now. Why? Because we're not returning anything, and it's expecting us to return a string. So status, we'll make it a type string, we'll set it equal to nothing to begin with. So if the BMI is less than min optimal, well, we know what? We know this is a BMI less than 18.50. So the status is going to be equal to underweight, and we can do a plus plus on our total underweight. Else, if BMI is less than min over, well, then we know that the BMI is greater than or equal to 18.50 and less than 25.0. So in that case, the status is equal to optimal weight and we'll do a plus plus on total optimal weight. Else, if BMI is less than min obese, well, then we know that the BMI is greater than or equal to 25.00 and it's less than 30.00. So the status is equal to overweight. Then we can do a plus plus on total overweight. Finally, the only thing that's left so we know the BMI is greater than or equal to 30.00. So status equals obese plus plus total obese. And then finally, we return the status. Now, one thing to mention here, and you know, if you've got any programming experience, you probably already know this. We've got one variable here, status, that we're setting in one of 1, 2, 3, 4 different ways, but we're only returning it once. That's a good thing, because if there's a problem with the return statement, there's only one place basically you have to go to look for it, which in my opinion, for whatever that is or is not worth, that's a good thing. All right, let's see where we are for time. We're at 11 minutes, so we can at least write the overlay function here next. So this function will populate the BMI totals modal overlay with the current accumulator values for each BMI status type. It will be invisible until the user clicks the, what do we call that button? Close totals. Show totals. Right there. Show totals button. There we go. Function open overlay, no parameters, and it's not returning anything, so we'll set it up as a void. So what we're going to do here is write out the current accumulator values for, how about just the current value for each accumulator? Into the overlays span elements. And if that confuses you, well, there was the overlay, and these are the spans right here. All right. Put this on a new line. And we're going to do this 4 times. So let's do it like this. Well, that didn't work out right, but that's okay. We'll fix it. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's make sure we use the right names. So total underweight, total optimal weight, total overweight. I did make that W there, capitalized. Let's be consistent because I used it that way. So let's change it everywhere we've got it in here too. I think that's the only two places I had to change it there, and of course this one. Okay. Okay. Finally, we want to come in there, we want to add the visible class to display the overlay. That was all shown in the CSS file. We don't want to remove it, we want to add. It's got to be in quotes, I believe. All right. Well, since we've got an open, this function will close or hide the BMI totals, totals overlay. This is done by removing the CSS class visible. So this will be a very small function. Now we do want to do a remove here. Right, I didn't close after the word element. There we go. So that's done. Now, what's left? We've got our event listeners, and we have to be able to clear the form, show the totals, and then close the actual button. It's not very much, believe it or not. So again, the next thing in here, I don't know if we're going to have time, let's see, will be the event listeners. And we are at 20 minutes, so I'm going to stop here, a good place to stop. And we may need 2 more videos to do this. We may be able to do it in 1. We'll see. All right, back shortly.